Today we're going to be shopping for parts for the wrecked Ferrari 458. We took a plane ride all the way up to Sacramento, California today to check out exotic auto recycling because beyond these walls is a graveyard literally dedicated just to exotics. I just had a sneak peek. It was crazy. Now I'm going to take you guys inside and we'll see what it's all about. So let's just start finding some cool stuff. The first door I'm seeing here smells of exotic leather. And it's just chock full of seats. Oh. Excuse me, sir. Oh. Excuse me. Oh, This room here is seats and interior bits for exotics.
There's seats in here that I saw in like video games like this. Iconic to me for whatever. I don't know what car it goes in, but I feel nostalgia when I look at this seat.
That's a Lambo Murcielago seat.
See what I'm saying?
Now, we don't need seats for the 458, although this looks like a 458. It might not be. This looks a little bit too old, but that's like our similar stitching. We don't need new seats, but we do need... Actually, when I think about it, we don't need anything for the interior because the two interior pieces that we did need to get fixed are actually just getting refurbished because that's where the airbags went off. So this room deems itself pointless, but it is pretty cool to be here. And I always talk about this. I think it's so weird. If I could explain to you guys the smell, like if you've ever been in a true exotic, like a Lamborghini or maybe like a super high-end Porsche or a Ferrari, the first thing you notice is the smell. The leather smells so good and it's everywhere. The smell is literally everywhere. Some spare paddle shifters.
Oh man, that looks expensive, boy.
Don't need them, but pretty cool. Speakers, carbon bits. All right, let's find something that we can actually use. The inside is full of engine parts, engine components, and outside is where they store the actual like spare chassis and stuff. We need to find some front end pieces, Cal. We need to find our front structural frame. We need to find maybe some headlights.
Maybe a front bumper.
A front bumper would actually do stuff like that. So let's see what we can find. I've found the Hall of Exotic Exhaust.
You need one of these? You need one of these?
What? Oh boy.
Maybe in
Is
green?
Is there just like parts? Just brake caliber parts? What do you got, Cal?
What do I got?
Hey, this is actually ours right here. It's a Silverstone Silver. I don't think that this is for a 360, so we gotta find our certain spec here. But just wreck exotic.
Alphabetical order? I think it's the library teach.
I'll see you later, bud.
Oh, later, dude.
I don't know if I can walk on that. Oh, I definitely can. Sketchy though. Fender liners. We do need fender liners, Cal.
Oh, this one fender liner seat? We need... Wait, I gotta...
I don't like this. This is uncomfortable. These are all fender liners. We need to map out where we are so we can take note of everything.
You need some Adam LZs.
Look at this Adam LZ spec, bro.
Calvin, I just made a shocking discovery.
What?
I just found a basketball court inside exotic graveyard warehouse.
Jeez.
And 2 cars for inspiration.
Oh, let's go look at this.
So I'm pretty sure the story behind both of these cars is these were both wrecked and crashed at one point and they rebuilt it completely from all the parts that they had. Oh, and then we have a 458. Calv, we need these, baby.
Oh,
we actually need these.
Oh, it's yours.
Wait, this is mine. Our car's been here. The Ferrari actually came here first. We're going to the frame shop, and these are actually my spare skirts. A big chunk was taken out of this one. If you guys remember that, these are actually our skirts. Good eye, Calv. Good eye.
Yeah, that's identifiable.
Hey, Calv, this whole entire thing is our car. Look, because here's our silver seat belts, and that's our door panel.
Memes.
Yep, that's our door panel.
This thing is heavy. Oh, put that back.
Guys, I just found a spare 458 wheel. This isn't the exact color, but this is from a 2010 458, so we need to replace that for our front right. We're finding things left and right, baby. So we never have an excuse for not having a good idea for a motor swap, because you literally have Lambo V12s and Ferrari V8s just literally everywhere. I'd like to find like a 458 motor. I don't know what any of these looks like. This is a Ferrari 355 motor.
Just a mighty fine hood, Teach.
So here's some pieces that we have set aside for us. So we do need a new hood and we do need some fenders. So here's one of the fenders. And all these pieces that we are going to be getting, they're going to be all different colors, and we're obviously going to have to repaint them and whatnot, but this is perfect. I did purchase new fenders. Now I'm not sure if we're going to be able to fix the ones that we had, so these are a good backup, a little security, a little bit of insurance.
A little wrap going on in there though. Interesting.
Yeah, just to block it out.
Nice.
So apart from this, we actually did find some more pieces over here, but I actually found a pretty wrecked 458 that was over here that I didn't even notice was a 458 when I originally saw it, but gives you guys a little example of what what I've been talking about when I said the front has like a skeleton front frame and we need to rebuild that. And then once that's rebuilt, like everything goes in like Legos. Well, here you kind of see an example of what I was referring to. So this is a 2010 458.
This is so much larger than I expected because our car is
Literally up to here.
and it comes out pretty far. Like thinking about it now, that's significant.
We haven't like realized how large the car is because we've only had like technically 3/4 of it.
So we have a whole other fourth of the car right here. But as you can see, so ours is chopped off from here on, and we have a fender on the car. These are those skeleton arms underneath the fender. We need to get these new cages. These are some frame rails that we actually found on the outer side of the shop and the front core support of the car. Underneath here, we have radiators. We have some ducting and stuff. That's actually some of the stuff that is kind of hard to find because normally when you get in a front end crash, all that stuff breaks first. And actually the metal and frame stuff kind of lasts a little bit longer. But something that I was talking about to Calvin is we might need to source a new wiring harness as well. From what I remember, ours is all kind of cut and stuff, which would be a nightmare to remake ourselves. So we're definitely gonna want to look into potentially finding a front wiring harness.
We're probably still gonna have to do what we did with my SR20, where we find the individual wires and braid it back together. We definitely don't want to replace the whole thing, Teach. That's like a terrible idea. We're just gonna find something that's like cut where we need it cut and then splice it back together.
Here's what the skeleton looks like, and this big hole here is what the trunk's gonna look like. So it's really just kind of this horseshoe shape. Now, while we're looking at that, I'm gonna show you guys kind of what to expect once we do rebuild it. Now, this car is the 458 Special. It's not a normal 458, but you can kind of get a better idea of where the skeleton frame sits. Like all of this here is just framework. No real meat to it, but all this kind of skeleton and bone.
This one has an extra ducting here for cooling system from the hood.
For Special memes.
I don't know what it does, but
There's actually a good amount of space.
this
I'm
is the
impressed.
Special, but
The 458 has a little bit more. So we found a 458 interior tub over here, which was one of the pieces that we needed.
You think I can stand it? You can definitely go grocery shopping in a 458, Teach.
Dude, you could do a road trip in a 458, hands down. You could fit a couple bags in here, a Nintendo Switch. You could fit so many things in here. We're finding random pieces here or there. I found some front rails for the car, and I found the skeleton pieces that we ordered. Now, like I said, we have a lot of parts unordered. Not all of them aren't here quite yet. We're kind of a couple days for them, but they did have some parts here, and we kind of want to look around here and see if we can find anything in the yards that they have. Now, here are some pieces that I pulled out a couple minutes ago. So these are actually the frame rail pieces that come out of the firewall. Boom.
Boom.
So obviously ours is chopped off near the closer towards the firewall.
That is what those pieces will look like.
That's pretty cool. So interesting. That is so interesting, seeing it blown up like this. There's a car outside, we should go look at it.
There is a skeleton of a 458 that we actually pulled a lot of pieces off for that we found outside. Let's go ahead and take one quick look at those. But first, I'm gonna show you guys the radiator cages that we actually bought for the car. This was pointed out to us that this was the box that was delivered for our 458. I think it goes like this. So this would be the front bumper of the car. These are the fender rails that come off of the firewall. So you can like kind of see the skeleton. You may have that backwards. I don't know how it goes without the car in front of us, but it is kind of cool to see that. So imagine the frame rails coming right underneath here, and then you have the fender arches and you have the front skeleton of the front bumper. There's another piece in here, which I'm assuming is the under fender rail. So imagine that, like that.
I don't know how this goes, dude.
Something like that. You guys get the idea. So now I'm gonna take you guys out to what is my favorite spot about this place.
Where good cars die. All of the cars that we grew up looking at here, just dead.
They're all here.
Cooked
They're all,
or fire.
every one of our dream cars are all sitting here looking at the end of their days. How does that make you feel, Cal? This is like their death. This is the graveyard. This is the actual end of the line. You're dead.
You're dead.
GG. You're over.
And F in the chat for all the supercars out here.
F for specs down below. Poor Murcielago. Just destroyed. Look at all this. I can tell by that green's a Lamborghini Gallardo or Murcielago. You can tell just by the paint color. Look at all these Lambo and Ferrari pieces.
This is how bad it gets. Everyone out there who owns these cars, stop crashing them, man.
No,
This
keep
is what
crashing them. You're giving me parts for my car because
Don't
they
crash
crashed.
yours, Teach.
They gave us parts.
Don't crash, Teach.
This is the saddest Murcielago I've ever seen. Rip, my brother. So over here, you see a yellow kind of tub. That is our donor car. This is where a lot of the pieces came off of. I owe a lot to this car. Look, and there's even spare frame rails in here. All the interior bits. You got some hoses. We just scored, baby. This is the jackpot.
Let me just pop the trunk, dude.
You got, oh man.
Yeah. I wonder where the engine for this went.
It's probably inside. So to my understanding, when they get a wrecked car, they'll keep the chassis outside, but then they'll strip apart all the interior pieces, the motor. All of a sudden that will wear down from the weather pretty quickly. All gets put inside, and they just leave chopped up pieces that they may use or may not use on the outside.
Sad panda.
But this is awesome. This is a jackpot Ferrari find for us, because I know it doesn't look like it, but a lot of these pieces are useful, and I don't know where it goes. It's kind of like a Lego kit that doesn't have instructions. But good thing Calvin's really good at Legos, so I'm sure we'll be able to figure it out.
I'm pretty sure that these aren't the same thing, Tej.
Brand new windshield, thank you very much. New brake lines if we need them.
AC lines. The AC lines.
Oh look, this is the whole thing, Cal. This is the front cage and the fender rail connected still.
Oh, you want to take it out and hold it to the car?
Yeah, let's do it. Nice Ferrari, bro!
But it looks good.
So we're gonna be taking quite a handful of pieces from this car. Oh, we've already taken the front rail off it, if you guys have already seen from inside. It's kind of crazy to think about that. Wrecked cars get rebuilt from other wrecked cars, and eventually a car will get so stripped down and so naked and just so useless that it turns into that, and it meets the end of its day. Calvin, this Gallardo looks like your 240. Oh man.
Oh, look at the fuse panel, Tej. I'll just take that as a souvenir. Put that on the wall.
So while we're here, I want to show you guys the room the cars go to before they end up in here, because it's a pretty crazy sight. This is like the morgue, Cal. It's like you're dead, but like you haven't made it to your grave yet. that's what this room is.
That's a great.
This is where disassembly happens, and you can kind of see the newest stuff that came in. That hurts. That hurts.
That's a bad one.
I asked if all this red here was blood that was here. They said no, but I like to think that it is blood. That Murcielago, this is cool. When a Murcielago, when the car recognizes that it's in a wreck or is about to flip or whatever, because the roofs aren't that structurally safe, I guess is the right term to use, behind the headrest, these like big beams shoot out, and that is there so when the car rolls over, it stops the roof from crushing you and kind of keeps your body from becoming
Mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes, yeah, exactly. But look at this, they have a brand new Uricon here. It's in perfect condition. And then you walk over here and it literally got annihilated.
It's cooked.
It
is so cooked.
A twin turbo Uricon. They said that the fuel regulator, it failed to put fuel on something hot and it just, whoop, look at this. This is a precision turbo, it is. And the turbo doesn't even spin. Get wrecked, Calv.
That looks like an expensive kit.
Don't quote me on this, but I think they're like 50 grand. Oh. Tuned and installed and bought. I could be wrong. Could be a little bit cheaper. Could be a little bit more. But it's up there.
I almost passed out.
It's up there of like, could be 40 or 50 grand. Tavares, where you at though, man? Where you at? It makes a great car for pulling interior pieces, and that's kind of the life of these cars. When they come here, you take what isn't screwed up and you store or throw away what is screwed up. And I'm sure our lower control arm for the 458 is somewhere in this pile.
The bone pile?
The bone pile. It's in there somewhere. I'm sure of it. I don't know where, but it's in there somewhere. It's a sad but really unique place to visit. Shout out to the donor 458 that we actually stole a bunch of parts from. Now, a lot of parts are still coming in and those are gonna have to get shipped over to us. It was cool kind of picking out some pieces and setting some stuff aside while we were up here visiting our Ferrari 458. But that is all we have time for. We gotta fly home and then catch our flight to Tokyo. So if you're in Japan, keep your eyes peeled, baby. We're gonna be at Tokyo Auto Salon. It was me, Calvin, as well as all the boys. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I will see you in the next one. Peace out and keep moving forward. I'm feeling Gotta do it for the video. Alright, Calvin. Imagine I'm Emily. No. Hi, babe. Hey, Calvin. Hey, I was kidding, man. I was kidding. There is no sippy action going on in this car.
And no Tej. TJ, you don't know how to do things. Tej?
3-pointer over the Ferrari.
No, Tej. No, Tej. No. Oh, wait. No.